Emma, you ungrateful bitch. On the white marble steps of the Los Angeles County Clerk's office, Ryan's fingers dug into my wrist like a rusty vice, his nails nearly piercing the skin. The early autumn ocean breeze carried a chill, but a cold sweat broke out on my arms, not from the cold, but from the pain, and more so, from fear. Beside him stood a young girl in a garish pink sundress, her hand clinging tightly to his arm, her lower belly subtly rounded. This was his secretary, Sasha. Half a year ago, I'd found her YSL Rouge Pour Couture, the slim lipstick, in the passenger seat of his Tesla. Back then, he'd sworn up and down it was just a coworker getting a ride, but now he stood there with her openly, the pride in her eyes stabbing at me like needles. In my arms, 5-year-old Luna trembled all over. Her small body clung tightly to my neck, her soft little cheek buried in the crook of my shoulder, her tears soaking through my shirt with a warm dampness. "Mommy, it hurts. Daddy's being mean. He's hurting you." Her tiny hands gripped the hem of my shirt, her knuckles white, even her voice trembling. I tried to yank my wrist free of Ryan's grip, but he clamped down harder, leaving an instant red mark, ugly and branding, around my wrist. "Ryan, you signed the divorce papers yourself." I ground out, my voice shaking with anger and heartache. "You said the house was yours, that all our savings went into company operations. I asked for nothing except Luna's custody. Now you're backing out. What do you want?" Sasha beside him gave Ryan's arm a gentle tug, deliberately pushing out her slightly rounded belly. The hem of her pink sundress fluttered with the movement, sickeningly conspicuous. This was his secretary. Half a year ago, I'd found her YSL Rouge Pour Couture, the slim lipstick, shade number 21, the one he'd once said, made me look old, in the glove compartment of his Tesla Model 3. Back then, he'd sworn it was just a coworker getting a ride who'd left it behind, but now he paraded her in front of me, the arrogance in her gaze cutting into my heart like a knife. "What do I want?" Ryan suddenly sneered, his mouth twisting into a vicious, cruel arc. He reached out with his other hand to yank Luna from my arms. "She's a Carter. Why should she live in a slum with a divorced woman like you? Come with me. My mom will take care of her. You're a loser who can't even get a part-time job. What right do you have to raise her?" "No, I don't want to go with Daddy." Luna sobbed harder, shaking her head like a rattle. Her tiny hands clung tightly to the collar of my shirt. "I want Mommy. Mommy, don't let him take me. I'm scared." I clung to my daughter and stepped back, flustered American style ly, not noticing the step behind me. My heel slipped and I lost my balance in an instant. In that split second of weightlessness, only one thought crossed my mind: I couldn't let Luna fall. I instinctively pulled her closer to my chest, bracing myself to take the impact of the cold concrete with my back. But the expected pain never came. A large, well-knuckled hand suddenly reached out from the side, steadying my waist firmly. The warmth of his palm seeped through my thin shirt, a reassuring force that anchored me, pulling me back from the edge of collapse. "Sir, hitting a woman and scaring a child, is that what you call manly conduct?" His voice was deep and resonant, like the low strings of a cello, yet carried an uncompromising authority that instantly drowned out Ryan's shouting. When I looked up, I met a pair of eyes as dark and rich as espresso. He wore a sleek black custom-tailored suit, Brunello Cucinelli wool, his shoulders as straight and sturdy as the redwoods in California's Redwood National Park, not a single wrinkle in the fabric. His jawline was sharp as polished obsidian, his nose high, his lips pressed in a tight line. An aura of "keep your distance" surrounded him, even the two suited assistants beside him radiating cautious deference. Yet when his gaze swept over Luna in my arms, that coldness softened imperceptibly, the sharpness in his pupils fading into a faint, barely noticeable warmth. At the sight of this man, Ryan's earlier arrogance deflated like a punctured balloon. He even shrank back unconsciously, his grip on my wrist loosening slightly. His voice trembled with obsequiousness. Mr. Hale, what are you doing here?" "Mr. Hale," my heart skipped a beat. That last name, that presence. Could this be Elliot Hale, the self-made tycoon who'd built Elliot Tech from a garage startup into a Silicon Valley unicorn in 10 years? I'd seen his photo on the cover of Forbes' 2023 30 Under 40 list. In the magazine, he'd worn a turtleneck and stared coldly out a floor-to-ceiling window, with the Silicon Valley skyline behind him. But nothing compared to the overwhelming presence of him up close, so intense it made it hard to breathe. Elliot ignored Ryan. Instead, he knelt down, his long fingers brushing gently over Luna's tear-streaked cheek. His touch was light, as if handling something fragile, and his voice dropped to a soft, soothing baritone. "Hey, sweetie, don't be scared. Uncle will protect you and Mommy." His fingertips carried a faint coolness. Luna's sobs quieted a little, though she still shrank timid-ly into my arms. She even snuck a quick glance up at him, her eyelashes still dotted with tears, like dew on a small fan, before ducking her head again. "Uncle, he hurt Mommy's hand," she whispered. Elliot's eyes turned cold instantly. When he stood up and faced Ryan, that intimidating aura returned, as sudden and frigid as a winter storm. "Mr. Carter, I believe your company is in talks with Elliot Tech about a $3 million software licensing deal, isn't it? Your CTO Mark was handling the negotiations. We met at the TechCrunch event at Stanford last week." Ryan's face drained of color. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead, dripping down his temples and soaking his collar. "Why yes, that's right. You remembered, Mr. Hale. I thought you'd be too busy with bigger things to notice something like this. Elliot Tech pays attention to the character of our partners, even for $100,000 projects," Elliot said, his gaze fixing on the bright red mark on my wrist, impossible to miss against my pale skin. The chill in his tone deepened. "But if I'm not mistaken, the first rule in our company's partnership guidelines is, no collaboration with those of questionable character. Hitting your ex-wife and snatching your child. Do you think that kind of behavior makes you worthy of working with us?" Ryan's legs went weak and he nearly crumpled to the steps. Sasha beside him barely managed to prop him up. He worked as a marketing manager at a small tech firm called Nova Tech, and this deal with Elliot Tech was something he'd slaved over. 3 all-nighters, 8 revised proposals. If it fell through, he'd lose not just his year-end bonus and his job, but might even have to pay damages for breach of contract. The contract stated, if cooperation is terminated due to the misconduct of a partner's employee, the partner shall pay 20% in liquidated damages, $600,000, money he couldn't earn in 10 years of working without eating or drinking. "Mr. Hale, it's a misunderstanding. Just a misunderstanding." He quickly let go of my wrist, clasping his hands together and forcing a smile at Elliot. His chubby face bunched up, looking ridiculous. "My ex-wife and we just had some family stuff to sort out. I didn't hit her, I swear. Look, the kid's crying, I was just trying to hold her, to comfort her. That's all." "You didn't hit her?" Elliot raised an eyebrow, pointing first to the clear red mark on my wrist, then to Luna's tear-streaked face. "Did this mark appear out of nowhere? Are the child's tears fake? Or do you think that bullying women and children isn't even wrong?" Ryan was left tongue-tied, his face turning the color of liver. He opened his mouth but no words came out. Sasha tried to step in, her voice timid. "Mr. Hale, actually, Emma, she's been asking Ryan for money non-stop. He was just trying to reason with her." Before she could finish, Elliot shot her a cold glare. The menace in that look was like an ice pick. Sasha clamped her mouth shut instantly, shrinking back behind Ryan unconsciously, too afraid to meet his eyes again. She'd clearly heard the stories about this Silicon Valley tycoon. Last year, a startup CEO had commented, "Your tech is just a so-so," during negotiations. The next day, Elliot had pulled all his investments from that company and had his legal team sue them for patent infringement. In the end, the startup went bankrupt. Elliot pulled out his phone, the latest iPhone 15 Pro Max with a black titanium case. The screen lit up with Jake's name, his chief assistant. His long fingers swiped quickly across the screen, and when he spoke, his voice held no warmth. "Jake, tell the legal department to terminate all cooperation with Nova Tech immediately. Compile the breach of contract clauses and be ready to sue. Also, pull the surveillance footage from outside the county clerk's office, specifically the part where Ryan tried to snatch the child and harm his ex-wife. Send it to David, Nova Tech CEO. Ask him if he still plans to keep an employee like that." "No, Mr. Hale, please have mercy." Ryan dropped to his knees with a thud, his knees slamming against the concrete. He clung tightly to the leg of Elliot's suit, knocking his head against the ground repeatedly until a red bump swelled on his forehead. "I was wrong. I really was. Emma, I'm sorry, please beg him for me. Don't let him end the deal. I can't lose my job. My mom's in the hospital waiting for surgery. If I lose this job, she'll die." Watching his groveling, I felt a wave of nausea. When I'd caught him cheating, what had he said? "Emma, you're a mom now, can't you even dress nicely? You look like a housekeeper. Who else would want you?" When he'd hidden our assets, what had he told me? "You don't have a job or income, what right do you have to fight for custody? If Luna stays with you, she'll only live in a rundown apartment in East LA, and never get into a good preschool." Now, for a $80,000 a year job, he'd throw away all his dignity to kneel and beg, even lying about his mom being sick. Just last month, she'd posted photos of her Hawaiian vacation on Facebook, grinning from ear to ear. "Ryan," I said coldly, my voice quiet but clear. The wind blew my hair across my face, hiding the disgust in my eyes. We're divorced. The divorce certificate is in the clear folder in my bag. If you want to see it, I can show you. Stay away from me and Luna from now on. You ruined your own job, this has nothing to do with me. Elliot gently kicked Ryan's hand away, not hard, but with an unyielding distance. He bent down to tuck a loose strand of hair behind my ear, his fingertips brushed my earlobe, sending a faint tingle through me, like a feather brushing my heart. Then he took my arm, carefully avoiding the bruise on my wrist, and adjusted the askew hair clip in Luna's hair. This man isn't worth your time. Let's go. His palm was large and warm, the pressure on my arm just right, not overbearing, but steady enough to support me. Luna seemed to sense safety, her sobs quieted to whimpers, and she clung tightly to my neck. Parked nearby was a black Tesla Model S, the latest plaid version. Its sleek lines glinted coldly in the sun. The driver had already gotten out and opened the back door, revealing soft beige leather seats, a stark contrast to my worn, faded shirt. Once inside, Elliot gestured for the driver to set the AC to 75 24°C. He pulled a bottle of warm almond milk from the car's mini fridge, Blue Diamond unsweetened, Luna's favorite. He'd even noticed she was lactose intolerant. Then he handed her a neatly wrapped strawberry cookie from Levine, the famous LA bakery, crisp on the outside, stuffed with strawberry bits. Luna used to stare at their display case every time we passed by. "Sweetie, have something to eat." "Sweet things always make you feel better," Elliot said as he handed Luna the cookie, having already torn a small opening in the wrapper to make it easy for her to hold. Luna glanced at me, then at the cookie in Elliot's hand. After a moment's hesitation, she reached out and took it, whispering, "Thank you, Uncle." She took a small bite, and the glistening in her eyes faded a little. The corner of her mouth even lifted slightly, probably the sweetness chasing away some of her fear. Elliot smiled, the coldness around his eyes softening. He pulled a black business card from his suit pocket and handed it to me. It was made of matte carbon fiber, with a smooth texture. Only his name, Elliot Hale, and a phone number were printed on it, no title. No company logo. Yet it exuded the quiet luxury of a Silicon Valley tycoon. "Emma, I'm Elliot Hale. If you need a lawyer, or if Ryan bothers you again, call this number, it's my personal line, 24/7, he said, his gaze earnest, no trace of perfunctoriness. "I've had Jake send you the contact info for the best family law attorney in LA. If you want to get back the assets he hid, he can help you." When I took the card, my fingertip brushed his. A faint electric tingle shot through me, and I quickly pulled my hand back, my cheeks warming. "Mr. Hale, thank you for helping me today, but, we don't even know each other. Isn't this too much trouble? I know you're busy, Elliot Tech has so much going on." "It's no trouble," Elliot said, his gaze lingering on the red mark on my wrist. There was a hint of barely noticeable concern in his eyes. "I hate two kinds of people, those who hurt women, and those who hurt children. And you, Emma, you're the bravest mom I've ever met. Even when you're down, you never gave up on your child. That's rare." He paused, then added, "Besides, I was here today to handle some company property paperwork. It was just a coincidence we met." The car soon pulled up to my apartment building, an old 1980s building in East LA. The paint on the exterior was peeling, revealing the red brick underneath. The stair railings were rusted, and there was no elevator. The $1,800 monthly rent ate up nearly half of the $5,000 Ryan had given me when we divorced. A few beat-up used cars were parked downstairs, making Elliot's Tesla look even more out of place, gaudy, almost. I got out with Luna in my arms and bowed deeply to Elliot. "Mr. Hale, thank you again. If there's ever a chance, I'll repay you." Elliot nodded, his eyes falling on Luna, who was already yawning in my arms. "The wind picks up at night. Put an extra coat on her when you take her out." Luna left her rabbit toy in the car. "I'll have the driver drop it off at your office tomorrow, if you find a job." As if noticing my awkwardness, he quickly added, "Jake already compiled a list of suitable positions, flexible hours, good for someone with a kid. He'll send it to you." I froze, touched that he'd remembered even such small details. A warm feeling welled up in my chest, and my eyes stung. "Thank you, Mr. Hale. You're really too kind." "It's the least I can do," he said with a smile, waving for the driver to go. I stood there watching until the Tesla's taillights disappeared into the night, then carried Luna slowly up the stairs. Back in our 450 square foot, about 42 square meter, apartment. Luna fell asleep quickly, still clutching the half-eaten cookie in her small hand. Her brows were slightly furrowed, as if she was still scared. I sat beside the bed, watching her innocent sleeping face, and tears fell, splashing on her hand. She stirred slightly, snuggling closer to me. Before the divorce, I'd been the perfect wife, in everyone's eyes. I kept the house spotless, woke up at 6 a.m. to make Ryan's breakfast, and waited up until 10 p.m. for him to get home from work, reheating his soup. When he started his business, I'd even given up my dream job as a graphic designer to help him, making PPTs, organizing client data, running around to find office space. I'd even designed his company's logo. But as soon as his company got its first $1 million in funding, he decided I couldn't keep up with him. He complained I only cared about the kid and had no vision, and even felt embarrassed to take me to industry events, saying I dressed like a mess and embarrassed him. In the end, he not only cheated but also secretly transferred our joint savings, nearly $150,000, to his mom's account, claiming he was keeping it safe for us. I didn't find out until the divorce that only $5,000 was left. He'd said, the company's short on cash, I invested it all. And I'd believed him. Now Luna would start preschool next month, costing $1,200 a month. Over the past 2 weeks, I'd interviewed at a dozen places, from cafe barista to administrative assistant. I'd been rejected either for being a divorced mom with a kid or grilled by interviewers. Can you guarantee you won't take time off if your kid gets sick? Once, when interviewing for an admin job at an ad agency, the HR rep had bluntly said, "We need young people who can work until 8 p.m. Someone who has to take care of a kid? You're not a good fit." I picked up Elliot's business card, running my fingertip over his name repeatedly. He was a tycoon at the top of Silicon Valley, living in a hilltop mansion in Palo Alto, with a private jet, a yacht, everything. I was a divorced mom cramped in an East LA apartment, hesitating even to buy Luna new shoes. The pink sneakers she was wearing were from last year, the toes were scuffed, and I'd touched them up with a marker to make them look new. We were people from two completely different worlds, but his appearance today had been like a ray of light, breaking through the darkness of my life. Maybe I shouldn't give up. For Luna, for myself, I had to stand back up. I slipped the card into the inside pocket of my wallet, as if hiding a small but steady glimmer of hope. The next morning, before dawn broke and the sky was still deep blue, I got up to make breakfast for Luna. The kitchen was so small I could barely turn around. I fried a sunny side-up egg, crispy around the edges, just how Luna liked it, warmed a glass of almond milk in her rabbit-shaped cup, and cut the leftover whole wheat bread into Mickey Mouse shapes, dotting the eyes and nose with chocolate sauce. Luna loved cute things like that. It made her eat a little more in the morning. "Mommy, good morning." Luna stumbled out of the bedroom, rubbing her eyes, her hair sticking up like a little lion's mane. When she saw the Mickey bread on the plate, her eyes lit up. She ran over and hugged my leg. "Wow, it's Mickey. Thank you, Mommy." I knelt down to smooth her hair, kissing her forehead. "Eat up quickly. After breakfast, I'll take you to Mrs. Gonzalez's house. Mommy has an interview today." "An interview? For a job?" Luna took a bite of bread, her words muffled. "Does that mean Mommy will have money to buy me new shoes?" My heart ached. I stroked her head. "Yes. Once Mommy gets a job, I'll buy you new shoes, and the frozen picture books you like too." When I dropped Luna off at our neighbor Mrs. Gonzalez's house, the retired Mexican-American teacher slipped an apple into my hand, her English laced with an accent. "Mija, don't be nervous about that interview. You're so capable, you'll get it. I'll watch Luna for you. I made her favorite tamales today, she'll eat with me at noon." Mrs. Gonzalez lived next door. Her husband had passed away years ago, and her son worked in New York, so she lived alone most days. She knew how hard it was for me, a divorced mom with a kid, and often helped me look after Luna. Sometimes when I worked late, she'd take Luna to her place, give her a bath, and read her stories. Warmth filled my chest. I thanked her repeatedly, then hurried off with my resume to the interview. The company I was interviewing at was a small software development firm called Pixel Tech, located in an office building in Santa Monica, far from East LA. I took 2 buses and spent an hour and a half getting there. The office building looked decent enough, with glass walls reflecting the sun. The security guard at the door wore a neat uniform and gave me an extra glance when he saw my old canvas bag. I dug out the only decent shirt I had, a white one Ryan had bought me when we went to San Francisco 3 years ago. It was a little tight now, but I'd ironed it perfectly flat and pulled my hair back in a simple ponytail, hoping to make a good impression on the interviewer. The person interviewing me was Donna, the admin manager, a woman in her 40s with wire-rimmed glasses, her hair pulled back tightly, wearing a dark pantsuit. She sat behind a large desk, her eyes sharp as knives. As she scanned my resume, her brows furrowed deeper and deeper. She tapped her finger on the paper, making a tap-tap sound that made my heart race. Emma Carter, 30 years old, divorced, 1 5-year-old child, 3 years out of work. She tossed my resume onto the desk with a slap, her tone dripping with disdain. We need people who can fully commit to their jobs. You're a divorced mom with a kid, can you guarantee you won't take time off constantly? If your kid has a fever or a cough, are you just going to drop everything and leave? We can't afford to hire someone who's distracted. My face burned. I clenched the hem of my shirt tightly, my nails digging into my palm. I took a deep breath, forcing my voice to stay steady. Ms. Donna, even though I'm a divorced mom, I'm extremely responsible. When I was a stay-at-home mom, I not only took care of the family but also helped my ex-husband organize client data, schedule meetings, and coordinate with suppliers. That work is similar to what an admin assistant does. I promise my kid won't affect my work. I've already asked my neighbor to help look after her. Even if she gets sick, I'll arrange my work in advance so it won't cause delays. Similar. You call stay-at-home mom experience? Donna sneered, leaning back in her chair and crossing her arms. The mockery in her eyes grew sharper. To be blunt, you've been out of touch with society for 3 years. Modern admin work requires knowing how to use Slack, create Excel pivot tables, and organize CRM data. Can you do any of that? Here's a copy of last week's sales data. Make a month-over-month analysis table for me. You have 10 minutes. She pushed a printed sheet of data across the desk, filled with numbers and jargon like average order value and repeat purchase rate. I was a little nervous, but I picked up a pen, recalling how I'd helped Ryan make reports before, and calculated quickly. 10 minutes later, I handed her the finished analysis. It wasn't perfect, but the numbers were correct, and the month-over-month trends were clearly marked. Donna glanced at it, then tossed it back to me. This is analysis. No charts, inconsistent font sizes. Do you think this is a household budget? Even if you can do these basic tasks, do you really think you, a single mom with a kid, can compete with 22-year-olds? They can work until 8 p.m. Take last-minute business trips to New York, can you? Do you dare say you won't take the next day off if your kid has a fever in the middle of the night? I can take work home, I tried to argue, but Donna cut me off. Save your breath, she waved her hand, dismissing me like a fly. We don't hire slackers, and we definitely don't hire burdens who have to juggle family and work. Go home. Find a part-time job you can do from home, like making crafts or writing freelance articles. Stop competing with young people for jobs. You can't afford to lose, and we can't afford to waste our time on you. The word burden cut into my heart like a dull knife, making it hard to breathe. I held back my tears, picked up my resume from the desk, and turned to leave. I didn't want to cry in front of someone like her. That would be too humiliating. Just then, the office door swung open, and a familiar deep voice rang out, Donna, since when does an Elliott Tech subsidiary have a rule against hiring single moms? I spun around in shock. It was Elliott. He wore a white dress shirt, his sleeves rolled up to his forearms, revealing a low-key Patek Philippe Calatrava watch on his wrist. The dial was dark blue, matching his eyes. Behind him stood several suited executives, including Mike, Elliott Tech COO, someone I'd seen in financial news. Clearly, they were here for an inspection. Pixel Tech was one of Elliott Tech's portfolio startups, with a 30% stake. Donna jumped up from her chair, the legs scraping loudly against the floor. She plastered an obsequious smile on her face, her voice shooting up an octave. Mr. Hale, what are you doing here? I didn't mean that. I was just discussing the job requirements with Emma, seeing if she's a good fit. After all, admin assistants need to be detail-oriented. I was worried she might not balance work and family well. It's for the company's sake. For the company's sake. Elliott walked over to me, picking up my resume from the desk and scanning it quickly. Then he looked at me, his eyes softening. Emma, at your ex-husband's company, besides organizing client data, what other work did you do? Be specific, like which clients you worked with, what kind of reports you made. I froze, surprised he even remembered Ryan's name. let alone cared enough to ask about my work experience. I pulled myself together and answered seriously. I worked with over a dozen small and medium-sized clients in California, like Sunny Shop, an e-commerce company, and Learn Easy, an education software firm. I was responsible for confirming their needs, following up on project progress, and sending monthly reports. For reports, I made sales summaries, customer satisfaction analyses, and even employee attendance trackers. Since the company didn't have a dedicated HR person back then, I did that part-time too. Good, Elliot nodded, then turned to Donna, his tone turning cold instantly. Ms. Donna, Emma's experience is more than enough for an admin assistant role. And being a divorced mom with a kid is no reason to reject her. Elliot Tech Group has always advocated for work-life balance. Our employee handbook clearly states, no discrimination based on gender, marital status, or family background. As a department manager, have you forgotten company policy? Donna's face flushed red, then paled. She opened her mouth to argue, but no words came out. Elliot paused, then continued, additionally, after reading Emma's resume, I think she's more suited to be my personal assistant than my current one. Starting today, Emma will join Elliot Tech headquarters as my personal assistant. Annual salary of $85,000, full medical, retirement, and unemployment insurance coverage, weekends off, and 15 days of paid annual leave. His words landed like a bomb in the office. Donna's eyes widened, her mouth hanging open. The other admin assistants stared in shock, leaning in to whisper to each other. Elliot ignored their reactions. The headquarters has an on-site daycare, open 24/7, with certified childcare providers and a doctor. Luna can attend for free, and they provide 3 meals a day plus afternoon snacks. I've already had Jake coordinate with the daycare, they can pick Luna up this afternoon. I was stunned, too. Mr. Hale, I've never been a personal assistant. I'm afraid I won't be good at it. I don't even know your work habits, like what kind of coffee you like, or if you want notes taken in meetings. What if I mess up and cause you trouble? It's okay, Elliot said, his eyes filled with trust. I'll teach you. Jake will give you a handbook with my habits, like I prefer black coffee, no sugar, no cream. I work most efficiently from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., so I use that time for important meetings or documents and don't like to be disturbed. For meetings, just take key notes, no need to transcribe every word. And I believe in your ability. Someone who can handle both family and her ex-husband's company chores so well will definitely be a great assistant to me. He turned to Jake behind him. Jake, take Emma to headquarters to complete the onboarding process. While you're at it, handle the daycare registration too. Tell the childcare providers to prepare more strawberry snacks and rabbit toys for Luna. As for Donna, report to HR tomorrow. The admin department isn't the right fit for you. We don't need managers who discriminate against employees. Donna's face turned ashen. She collapsed into her chair, covering her face with her hands, her shoulders shaking. She knew that being transferred at Elliot's order meant her career at Elliot Tech was effectively over. The other employees hung their heads, no one daring to speak. Everyone knew that crossing Elliot Hale meant being blacklisted in Silicon Valley. On the way to Elliot Tech headquarters with Jake, I felt like I was in a dream. A $85,000 annual salary, full insurance, free daycare, this was more than I'd ever dared hope for. The highest paying admin job I'd interviewed for before only offered $50,000 a year, with no benefits. Emma, don't be nervous, Jake said, noticing my unease. He smiled. Mr. Hale rarely values someone this much. Once, a Stanford MBA applied for his assistant role and got rejected. He said they were too career-obsessed, only cared about titles, and not down-to-earth. The fact that he personally promoted you means you must have something special. Jake had been Elliot's chief assistant for 5 years. He looked to be in his 30s, spoke gently, and wore black-rimmed glasses, looking like a college professor. He handed me a bottle of water. Mr. Hale seems cold, but he's actually a good person, very caring toward his employees. For example, he remembers every employee's birthday. Last Christmas, he gave everyone the latest iPad Pro. When an employee has family troubles, he helps out too. Last year, Lisa in marketing got pregnant, he specifically approved her to work remotely and even gave her a raise. I forced a smile. Jake, I barely know Mr. Hale. We only met yesterday, outside the county clerk's office. I still don't understand why he's helping me. Maybe because you're brave, Jake said. Mr. Hale admires brave people. When he started his business, he went through so much, rejected by investors dozens of times, slandered by competitors, but he never gave up. Yesterday, when he saw you protecting your kid, he must have been touched. Elliott Tech's headquarters was in the heart of Silicon Valley, on University Avenue in Palo Alto, a 20-story glass skyscraper with a huge Elliott Tech logo glowing on the rooftop. Inside the lobby stood a large, futuristic sculpture made from recycled computer parts, and a small coffee bar offering free coffee and pastries. The receptionist wore a neat uniform and had a polished makeup look. When she saw Jake with me, she greeted us warmly. Mr. Jake, this must be Ms. Emma. Mr. Hale already called. I'll take you to HR. The onboarding process went smoothly. The HR representative handed me an employee package containing my ID badge, the latest MacBook Pro, a company-branded notebook and pen, and a list of benefits, free gym access, counseling services, annual physicals, and even a childcare subsidy. My ID badge read, Executive Office, Personal Assistant, Emma Carter. The photo had been taken on the spot, a little rushed, but I still looked put together. Jake then took me to my office, right next to Elliott's. It wasn't big, but it was neat, with a large solid wood desk, a small bookshelf, filled with books like Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, and the quest for a fantastic future, Principles, and 0 to 1, and a small sofa for resting. The window overlooked the company's rooftop garden, where I could see large patches of greenery and solar panels. Elliott Tech was a certified eco-friendly company, powering everything with solar energy. Emma, take some time to get familiar with the space. Mr. Hale has an executive meeting at 2 p.m., he'll need you to organize the meeting materials, Jake said, handing me a thick folder. Inside are the agenda, the list of attendees, and the Q3 project report. Read through it first, and if you don't understand anything, feel free to ask me. For example, if you're confused about the SaaS revenue data. SaaS stands for Software as a Service, a business model. I can explain it to you. I took the folder and read through it carefully. Even though I'd never been a personal assistant, organizing materials and familiarizing myself with agendas was similar to work I'd done for Ryan before, so I picked it up quickly. When I encountered unfamiliar jargon, like ARR, annual recurring revenue, and NAR, monthly recurring revenue, I looked it up on Google, made notes, and even drew mind maps to remember their definitions and calculation methods. At noon, Jake took me to the company cafeteria. It was spacious, with a variety of food options, American burgers, Italian pasta, Chinese fried rice, plus a vegan section and a kids' meal area. Employees sat in small groups eating. When they saw me with Jake, they greeted me warmly. Lisa from marketing came over to chat. You must be Emma. Jake told us you're Mr. Hale's new assistant, congrats. If you need anything, just let me know. She recommended the cafeteria's signature dish, grilled salmon with quinoa salad, and it was delicious. While eating, I saw Elliott walk in. He carried a tray with a simple meal of grilled chicken and vegetables, sitting by the window, eating while reading a document. No one dared to disturb him, and he looked calm, occasionally glancing out the window with a quiet expression. The 2 p.m. meeting started on time. I carried the organized materials and followed Elliott into the conference room. It was large, with an oval glass table in the center. Around it sat over a dozen executives, big names in Silicon Valley, like COO Mike, CTO Mark, and CFO Sarah. When they saw Elliott, they all stood up and greeted him, Mr. Hale. Elliott sat at the head of the table, gesturing for me to sit in the empty seat next to him. Once the meeting started, he was sharp and articulate. When discussing the user retention rate of one of their software products, CTO Mark said, "It's a technical issue, we need to optimize the algorithm. But Elliot cut in, it's not a technical issue. The onboarding process is flawed. New users don't get clear tutorials, so 30% of them churn the same day. He ordered the product manager to submit an improvement plan by the following week. He also answered the executives' questions quickly. When CFO Sarah asked, should we increase the Q4 marketing budget? He pulled out his tablet, brought up the latest ROI, return on investment, data, and said, we can increase the budget, but focus on TikTok ads. 70% of our users are 18 to 35, and TikTok has a 20% higher reach than Facebook, with lower costs. I sat beside him, taking key notes on my notebook and distributing materials to everyone. When Elliot needed a specific piece of data, I quickly found it in the folder. For example, when he asked, what was the Q2 churn rate, and what were the main causes? I flipped to the right page in seconds, pointing to the data. Q2 churn was 15%, mainly due to long customer service wait times, over 10 minutes on average. He looked up at me, a hint of approval in his eyes, and nodded slightly. After the meeting, the executives left one by one. Elliot stopped me. Emma, thanks for your hard work today. Finish the meeting minutes and send them to me and the other executives tomorrow morning. Also, how's Luna adjusting to the daycare? I told the childcare providers to prepare Lavaine's strawberry cookies and her rabbit toy. Warmth filled my chest, surprised he'd remembered Luna's preferences. Thank you, Mr. Hale. I called Mrs. Gonzalez earlier, and she said the daycare already picked Luna up. She even sent me a photo. Luna's playing with blocks with the other kids, smiling happily. Good, Elliot nodded, picking up his suit jacket from the back of his chair. I'll drive you and Luna home after work. I'll also stop by the daycare to check on things, want to tell the childcare providers about Luna's nut allergy, so they're careful with snacks. And she likes to sleep with her rabbit toy, so they should keep it on her cot. I hurried to refuse. No, Mr. Hale, that's too much trouble. I can take the bus home. You must be busy with company matters. It's no trouble, Elliot cut me off, his tone firm. I just happened to have a meeting with a client in East LA. They make educational software for kids, related to our new product. It's on the way. Besides, I want to see Luna, make sure she's happy at the daycare. I knew he was making an excuse. Clients who made kids' educational software were mostly in Silicon Valley or downtown LA, not East LA. But I couldn't refuse him, so I nodded. Then, thank you. After work, we went to the daycare to pick up Luna. It was on the third floor of the headquarters, decorated like a fairy tale, colorful slides, soft carpets, bookshelves filled with picture books, and dedicated play and rest areas. The childcare provider, Ms. Lilly, greeted us with a smile. Mr. Hale, Ms. Emma, Luna's been such a good girl. She played blocks with the other kids and shared her snacks, everyone loves her. In the distance, I saw Luna sitting at a small table, holding her rabbit toy and drawing with a blonde little girl. When she saw me, she jumped out of her chair and ran over, throwing herself into my arms. Mommy! The daycare is so pretty. There's a slide, and strawberry cookies. Ms. Lilly read me the tale of Peter Rabbit. Elliot walked over, holding a pink backpack, Luna's favorite Disney princess design, with Elsa printed on it. He handed it to her. Luna, this is for you. It has the Frozen picture books you like and colored pencils. You can use it when you start preschool. Luna's eyes lit up. She took the backpack, rummaging through it happily. She pulled out a blue pencil and handed it to Elliot. Uncle Elliot, this is for you. You can draw Elsa's magic with it. Thank you, Luna, Elliot smiled, reaching out to ruffle her hair. His touch was gentle and natural, and Luna didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned into it, clearly no longer afraid of him. On the drive home, Luna sat in her car seat, chattering to Elliot about her day at daycare. Uncle Elliot, a little boy built a castle with me. He said my tower was the prettiest. Ms. Lily said my rabbit drawing was cute, she put it on the wall. Elliot listened carefully, asking questions now and then. What color was the castle? Did you leave a room for Elsa? Did you draw long ears on the rabbit? Was it pink? When he spoke, his eyes were warm, no trace of the Silicon Valley tycoon's arrogance, just a regular uncle, patiently listening to a child's ramblings. When the car pulled up to my apartment building, Elliot leaned over to ease Luna from my arms. She'd started dozing off, her little head lolling slightly. He then fetched a small canvas bag from the back seat and handed it to me. Fresh organic strawberries, unsweetened almond milk, just what Luna likes, and a couple of new picture books, all New York Times bestsellers. My assistant grabbed these earlier. Raising a kid alone's no easy feat, hope these take a little weight off. Inside the bag was also a note with the daycare's contact info and Ms. Lily's phone number. At the bottom was a line in small handwriting: if Luna cries for her mom at night, have Ms. Lily call me. I'll comfort her. I looked at the bag and the note, my eyes stinging with tears. Mr. Hale, you've already done so much for me. I can't let you spend more money. Don't be so formal, Elliot said, his gaze earnest. Emma, you don't have to worry about Ryan anymore. I've had my lawyer talk to him. If he bothers you or Luna again, we'll call the police immediately and press charges for trespassing and criminal threats. And if you have any trouble at work or in life, even if Luna has a fever in the middle of the night and needs to go to the hospital, call me anytime. Looking into his sincere eyes, I suddenly thought, maybe the divorce wasn't all bad. At least it had brought me to Elliot, someone who was willing to help me and Luna. Thank you, Mr. Hale, I said, taking a deep breath to hold back my emotions. I'll work hard. I won't let you down. Elliot nodded, his eyes glued to me as I carried Luna up the creaky stairs. He didn't look away until my figure disappeared behind the third-floor window. Only then did he run a hand through his hair, pull open the car door, and drive off, the Tesla's taillights melting into the evening haze. Back in the apartment, Luna curled up on the couch with her new picture books, her small fingers tracing the illustrations for ages before she looked up at me. Mommy, Uncle Elliot's so nice. Can I call him Daddy sometimes? Her voice was soft, earnest, like she'd been turning the thought over in her head. I paused for a beat, then leaned down to brush a strand of hair from her forehead, a gentle smile on my face. Daddy's someone really special, sweetie. We should spend more time with Uncle Elliot first, get to know him better, before we talk about that, okay? Luna blinked, then nodded slowly, even if she didn't fully understand. She snuggled back into her book, her cheeks still pink with excitement. I sat beside her, watching the way her eyes lit up at the pictures, and made a quiet promise to myself: I'd work hard, earn enough to give Luna a steady, happy life, and never let Elliot's thoughtful kindness go unappreciated. My first month at Elliot Tech was full and busy, but happy. Elliot didn't treat me differently just because I'd been handpicked. Instead, he patiently taught me how to do my job. Every morning, he arrived 10 minutes early to go over the day's schedule with me, telling me which meetings were important and needed detailed notes, which emails required priority responses. When teaching me to read financial statements, he broke down the complicated balance sheet into simple parts: cash, inventory, accounts receivable. He explained in plain language: cash is the money in the company's bank account. Inventory is products that haven't been sold yet. Accounts receivable is money clients owe us. If these three numbers are healthy, the company's cash flow is fine. When preparing me to work with important clients, he told me their preferences and priorities in advance. For example, when working with Lisa, Apple's procurement manager, he said, Lisa cares most about delivery times and product quality. When you talk to her, emphasize our production capacity. We have 2 factories in Austin, so we can ship within 48 hours. Every batch of products goes through 3 quality checks, with a 99.9% pass rate. He even shared his work habits to help me schedule his time. I'm most productive from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., use that time for important meetings or documents. After 2 p.m., I can meet with clients or team members. Try not to schedule work after 7 p.m., I need time to think about new product directions. I studied hard too. Every morning, I arrived half an hour early to organize the day's materials and make Elliot's favorite black coffee, using Ethiopian beans, which he said had a faint fruity aroma. After work, I reviewed my tasks for the day, writing down anything I didn't understand in a notebook to ask Elliot or Jake the next day. In less than a month, I could handle most tasks independently. When screening potential partners, I scored them based on 3 criteria: company size, industry reputation, and case history, and presented the top 3 to Elliot. When drafting meeting agendas, I confirmed times and needs with attendees in advance to ensure everything ran smoothly. When replying to non-confidential emails, I mimicked Elliot's tone: concise, clear, and to the point. Once, Elliot asked me to organize the Q3 sales data. I didn't just make a summary table, I analyzed sales performance across regions and products, identifying the fastest-growing product, a CRM software for small and medium businesses, with 30% month-over-month growth, and a region that needed improvement. Southeast sales were down 10%, due to local competitors slashing prices. I also proposed a solution: we can partner with local distributors in the Southeast to launch targeted promotions, like a buy 1 year, get 3 months free deal, to boost market share. After reading my report, Elliot smiled. "Emma, this is excellent, better than I expected. This solution is practical. I'll have the sales team implement it next week." His praise made my heart feel warm, like drinking honey. It gave me even more motivation to work hard. Luna was also adjusting better and better to daycare. Every morning, she'd put on the princess backpack Elliot had bought her and say happily, "Mommy, I'm going to play with Sophia at daycare." Every night, she'd tell me about her day: "Ms. Lily taught us to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star today, I even led the singing." Uncle Elliot came to see me at daycare. He brought me C's Candies chocolate, strawberry flavor. Elliot visited the daycare once or twice a week, sometimes on his way somewhere, sometimes on purpose. He always brought small gifts: strawberry candies, new picture books, cute hair clips. Once, he even played blocks with Luna for half an hour, helping her build a huge castle. Luna was so happy she threw her arms around his neck and kissed him, saying, "Uncle Elliot, you're the best." Ms. Lily, the childcare provider, told me Luna was getting closer and closer to Elliot. Sometimes she'd even tell the other kids, "That's my Uncle Elliot. He's super cool, he has a Tesla and can build castles." Once, Luna gave Elliot her favorite rabbit toy, saying, "Uncle Elliot, keep this. Look at it when you miss me." Elliot actually put it on his office desk. Every time I saw it during meetings, I couldn't help but smile. My colleagues were friendly too. When they found out I was a single mom, they didn't discriminate, they even helped me out. Lisa from marketing shared parenting tips with me and gave me a copy of What to Expect the First Year. Mike from admin helped me print materials so I could leave early to pick up Luna. On weekends, Elliot sometimes invited us to his house. His home was a modern-style villa on a hill in Palo Alto, with a large garden filled with strawberries and sunflowers, Luna's favorites. Every time we visited, Luna would chase butterflies or pick strawberries in the garden, and Elliot would play with her, telling her stories. Once, Luna asked Elliot, "Uncle Elliot, why don't you have a family?" Elliot froze for a moment, then smiled. "I was too busy with work before, so I never had time to start a family. But now, having you and Emma feels like having a family." Hearing that, something in my heart seemed to soften, warm, but with a hint of sadness. I knew Elliot was being kind, but sometimes I couldn't help but wonder, was he being nice to Luna just out of sympathy? Or was there something more? As soon as the thought crossed my mind, I pushed it away. We were from 2 different worlds: he was a Silicon Valley tycoon, I was a single mom. Nothing could ever happen between us. He was just being kind, I told myself. he hated seeing me being bullied. I thought life would keep getting better, but then Ryan showed up again. It was a Friday. Elliot told me to leave early. Spend the weekend with Luna. We can handle work on Monday. I picked Luna up from daycare and planned to stop by the supermarket to buy strawberries and organic milk, so I could make strawberry muffins for her that night. As soon as I reached the apartment building, I saw a familiar figure sitting on the steps. It was Ryan. He wore a crumpled suit stained with alcohol, his hair greasy and stuck to his forehead. He held an empty beer can. And the smell of alcohol wafted toward me, strong enough to smell from several feet away. When he saw me, he stumbled to his feet and lunged at me, grabbing my arm. His grip was so tight his nails dug into my skin, making me wince. "Emma, you bitch. Did you tell Hale something? Did you make him cancel the deal with my company? I lost my job. I have no money left. Are you happy now?" His eyes were bloodshot, and his breath reeked of alcohol as he spoke, so foul it made me sick. I tried to step back and yank my arm free. "Ryan, stay away from me. I didn't say anything to Mr. Hale. You ruined your own job, this has nothing to do with me." "Nothing to do with you?" Ryan sneered, his eyes filled with malice. He reached for my bag. Inside were Luna's picture books and the strawberries I'd just bought. "Do you think I'm stupid? You're Hale's assistant now, you must have badmouthed me to him. And Luna, she's my daughter. Why do you get to keep her all to yourself? I'm taking her with me. Don't touch Luna." I clutched my bag tightly, shielding Luna behind me. "Ryan, we're divorced. The court gave me custody of Luna. You have no right to take her." "Court? I don't care about the damn court." Ryan grew more and more agitated, reaching for Luna's arm. "She's a Carter, she belongs with me. You're a divorced woman, what right do you have to raise her? Can you buy her a mansion? Hire her a tutor? Send her to Stanford?" Luna cowered behind me, her small hands clutching my shirt, sobbing softly. "Mommy, I'm scared. I don't want to go with Daddy." Just then, Mrs. Gonzalez's voice came from the hallway. "Emma? Luna? Why aren't you upstairs yet? I made tamales, I saved some for you." When Mrs. Gonzalez saw Ryan, her face turned pale. She hurried over, standing between me and Luna. "Ryan. What do you think you're doing? Emma's already divorced from you, leave her and Luna alone. Mind your own business, old lady." Ryan shoved Mrs. Gonzalez hard. She was too old to keep her balance, stumbling backward. She grabbed the wall to steady herself, but her hand scraped against the edge of the step, breaking the skin and drawing blood. "Mrs. Gonzalez." I gasped, rushing over to help her. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine, Emma, don't worry about me," Mrs. Gonzalez said, gritting her teeth against the pain. She took my hand. "Take Luna and run. I'll stop him." I was so angry my whole body shook. I stepped in front of Ryan. "Ryan, that's enough. If you touch Luna or Mrs. Gonzalez again, I'll call the police." "Call the police? Go ahead." Ryan looked like he had nothing left to lose, his eyes wild. "I've got nothing now, no job, no money, not even Sasha. She thought I was poor, so she got rid of the baby and ran off with some rich kid. What's the point of living? Let's all die together." As he spoke, he reached for Luna's arm. I grabbed her and held her tightly to my chest, tears streaming down my face. I never thought Ryan would become so crazy, so terrifying. Just then, a black Tesla Model S skidded to a stop in front of the apartment building, its tires screeching against the pavement. Elliot got out, wearing a dark trench coat. His hair was ruffled by the wind, but his eyes blazed with anger. He strode over, grabbing Ryan's wrist and twisting it hard. Ryan screamed in pain, his wrist contorted. The alcohol fogging his brain cleared a little, and his face turned ashen. Ah! It hurts. Let go of me. Ryan struggled, but he couldn't break free of Elliot's grip. Elliot's fingers were like a vice. Elliot shoved him hard. Ryan stumbled and fell to the ground, unable to get up for a moment. Then Elliot hurried over to me, gently patting my back, his voice softening. "Emma, don't be scared. I'm here. Are you okay? What about Luna, did she get scared?" I shook my head, holding Luna even tighter. "I'm fine. It's just. Luna's scared." And Mrs. Gonzalez scraped her hand, "She needs help." Elliot looked at Mrs. Gonzalez's hand, his brows furrowing deeper. He took a first aid kit from the car and walked over to her. "Mrs. Gonzalez, I'm sorry you got caught up in this. I've had Jake call an ambulance, they'll be here soon." "Thank you, Mr. Hale, but it's nothing," Mrs. Gonzalez said with a smile. "Just a small scrape. I can clean it with iodine when I get home." Elliot knelt down, looking at Luna, who was still crying in my arms. He pulled a strawberry candy from his pocket, C's Candies, Luna's favorite, and handed it to her. "Luna, don't be scared. Uncle's here. The bad guy's been stopped, he won't hurt you or Mommy anymore." Luna took the candy, sniffling. "Uncle Elliot," she held out her small arms, wrapping them around his neck and burying her face in his shoulder. "Good girl," Elliot stroked her hair, then stood up and turned to Ryan. His eyes were as cold as ice. "Ryan, I warned you, stay away from Emma and Luna. Can't you understand simple words?" Ryan climbed to his feet, trembling with fear, but still trying to sound tough. "Mr. Hale, this is our family business, it has nothing to do with you. Mind your own business." "Family business?" Elliot pulled out his phone, playing a recording, Ryan's voice clearly saying, "Let's all die together. Threatening someone's life isn't family business, it's a crime. Jake, call the apartment security now and have them drag him out. Also, call the LAPD and press charges for trespassing and criminal threats." Jake's voice came quickly over the phone. "Right away, Mr. Hale. Security will be here in 3 minutes. The police are patrolling nearby, they'll be here in 10. Ryan finally panicked. He dropped to his knees with a thud, kowtowing to Elliot. "Mr. Hale, I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. Emma, I'm sorry, please beg him to forgive me. I can't go to jail. My parents, what will they do if I'm in jail?" He banged his head against the concrete until a red bump swelled up, even bleeding a little. But watching him grovel, I only felt pity and disgust. When he'd cheated on me, when he'd hidden our assets, had he ever thought about how we'd feel? Now he was scared, but it was too late. "Ryan," I said coldly. "You're sorry now. But when you hurt me and Luna, did you ever think about how sad we'd be? When you pushed Mrs. Gonzalez, did you ever think she's an old lady? Leave now, and never come back. If you do, I'll have my lawyer sue you, make you pay for what you've done." Soon, 2 tall Latino security guards arrived, wearing black uniforms and exuding authority. They pulled Ryan to his feet. He screamed, "I'm sorry. Don't take me." But no one felt sorry for him. The guards dragged him toward the exit, his feet scraping against the ground like a stray dog. A few minutes later, an LAPD squad car arrived. The officers asked for a quick statement, then followed the guards, taking Ryan back to the station to press charges for trespassing and criminal threats. I finally relaxed, my grip on Luna loosening a little. Elliot looked at my pale face, his brows furrowed. "Emma, are you okay? Did you get scared? I'll take you and Luna upstairs to rest, and help Mrs. Gonzalez with her hand." Mrs. Gonzalez agreed. "Yes, Emma, you look terrible. Go rest. I've calmed Luna down, don't worry." I nodded, following Elliot and Mrs. Gonzalez upstairs. Back home, I set Luna on the sofa, covering her with a small blanket. Then I went to the kitchen to get iodine and gauze to help Mrs. Gonzalez clean her wound. Elliot sat beside us, watching me fumble with the bandage. He couldn't help but say, "Let me do it. You go stay with Luna." He took the gauze, his movements gentle but skilled. After wrapping the wound, he instructed, "Change the bandage every day and keep it dry. It'll heal in a few days. If it hurts a lot, call me, I'll have a doctor come check on you." Mrs. Gonzalez smiled. "Thank you, Mr. Hale. You're such a kind man. Emma is lucky to have met you." Elliot glanced at me, a faint warmth in his eyes. Then he said to Mrs. Gonzalez, "Emma and Luna are good people. They deserve to be treated well." Mrs. Gonzalez helped me wash Luna's face, then played picture books with her until Luna's mood settled. She even sang Twinkle Twinkle Little Star with her. When she saw we were okay, she left. Before she went, she whispered to me, "Emma, Mr. Hale is a good man. Don't let this chance slip away." My cheeks warmed, and I didn't know how to respond. Elliot sat on the sofa, watching Luna focus on her picture book. Then he turned to me. "Emma, I'm sorry you had to go through this today. From now on, I'll have my driver take you and Luna to work and back every day. I'll also ask security to patrol your building more often, make sure you and Luna are safe." "Mr. Hale, that's too much trouble," I said quickly. "Ryan's been arrested, he won't bother us again. And this is so much fuss, it'll distract you from work." "It's not trouble," Elliot cut me off, his gaze earnest. "Your safety and Luna's are the most important things. I can't let you get hurt again, not even a little. Also, I had Jake find you a new apartment in Palo Alto. It's close to the company, and the building has good security. I'll take you to see it tomorrow. If you like it, we can move soon." I froze, surprised he'd even found an apartment for me. "Mr. Hale, that's too kind. My current apartment is old, but it's comfortable enough, and the rent is cheap." "Money isn't an issue," Elliot said. "I want you and Luna to live safely and comfortably. The new apartment has 2 bedrooms, Luna can have her own room. There's even a small garden, she can plant strawberries there. And it's only a 5-minute walk to the daycare, so you won't have to rush in the mornings." Looking into his sincere eyes, I knew I couldn't refuse, everything he did was for me and Luna. I sniffled, my voice soft. "Thank you, Elliot." It was the first time I'd called him by his first name, not Mr. Hale. Elliot smiled, his eyes warm. "You're welcome. By the way, you mentioned wanting to treat me to dinner to thank me. How about tonight? There's a family-friendly restaurant downstairs called the Little Beat Table, they serve healthy kids' meals. Luna will like it." I froze, remembering I'd casually mentioned it after he'd helped me earlier. I'd thought he'd forgotten, but he'd remembered. "Sure," I nodded. "But I should pay, it's the least I can do, after you helped me today." "It doesn't matter who pays," Elliot smiled, then turned to Luna. "Luna, Uncle will take you to eat something delicious. They have strawberry muffins, your favorite." Luna looked up, her eyes bright. "Really? Thank you, Uncle Elliot." We took Luna to the restaurant. The atmosphere was warm, with cute cartoon decorations on the walls, Disney princesses painted everywhere. There was even a dedicated kids' play area with slides, blocks, and a bookshelf. Luna was thrilled. She took Elliot's hand and ran to the play area. Elliot was patient, playing slides with her, helping her build blocks, and even joining her in a game of house, pretending to be the king and Luna the princess. It made Luna laugh out loud. The other parents stared at Elliot in surprise, whispering among themselves. "Is that Elliot Hale? The CEO of Elliot Tech? He's so down-to-earth, playing house with a kid. I saw him at a TechCrunch event before, he was so cold. I never thought he'd be this gentle in person. Is that little girl his daughter?" She's so cute. Hearing their whispers, my cheeks warmed, but I couldn't help but feel happy, as if Elliot really was my family, and Luna his daughter. During dinner, Elliot suddenly said, "Emma, I know you helped your ex-husband handle client relations before. Next week, we have an important client meeting, Ms. Olivia, the CEO of Babybel, a baby product brand. She values user experience a lot. I want you to come with me to the meeting. You've raised Luna, so you understand what parents need from baby products. And you're good at communicating, I know you'll do well." I was surprised. Me? Can I really do it? I've never met such an important client before. What if I mess up? Babybel is a well-known baby brand in the US. If the partnership fails, it'll hurt the company's reputation. You can do it, Elliot encouraged me, his eyes filled with trust. I'll be right there with you, we'll handle any problems together. And this is a good opportunity for you. Through this partnership, you'll meet more people in the industry, like influencers in the baby niche and trade show contacts. It'll help your career. He paused, then added, I had Jake compile information on Ms. Olivia and Babybel's products. He'll send it to you tomorrow. For example, Ms. Olivia likes English breakfast tea, no sugar, no milk. Make sure we have it ready for the meeting. She hates being late, so we'll arrive 10 minutes early. Babybel just launched a new organic vegetable puree for babies, but it's not selling well. A lot of moms say, it's too bland, babies don't like it. They want to partner with us to make a smart baby food maker. One that adjusts the flavor and nutrition based on the baby's age and taste preferences. Read through the info first, and ask me if you don't understand anything. Looking into Elliot's trusting eyes, I suddenly felt confident. Maybe I could do more than just be a good assistant. Maybe I could stand on my own in Silicon Valley, become someone who could handle things independently. Okay, I'll work hard, I nodded, my heart filled with hope. After dinner, Elliot drove us home. Before we got out, he handed me a manila envelope. Inside are the proofs that Ryan hid your assets. My lawyer found them. He transferred your joint savings, $150,000, to his sister Chloe's account. He even put $30,000 in Sasha's account. My lawyer talked to Chloe and Sasha, and they agreed to return the money. It'll be transferred to your account next week. I took the envelope, my fingers trembling. Inside were bank statements, transfer records, and even chat logs between Ryan and his sister Chloe. In the logs, Ryan clearly told Chloe, help me hold on to this money. Once I divorce Emma, it's all ours. The evidence was irrefutable. Elliot, thank you, I choked up, tears streaming down my face. If it weren't for you, I'd never have known he hid our money. I'd have raised Luna in poverty for the rest of my life. You've done so much for me, I don't know how to repay you. Don't be so formal, Elliot said, reaching out to wipe the tears from my cheek. His fingertips were cool, and when they brushed my skin, a faint tingle ran through me, like a feather tickling my heart. Emma, I want you to be happy. I want you to rediscover your worth. You're amazing, you deserve a better life. Not just materially, but emotionally too. He paused, his voice deep and serious. Emma, I don't just help you out of sympathy. Over the past month, I've seen how brave, kind, and hardworking you are. For Luna's sake, you're willing to learn new things and take on challenges. That resilience, it's attractive. I want to take care of you and Luna. I want to be part of your lives. My heart raced, thudding like a drum. My cheeks burned, and I couldn't meet his eyes. I looked down, my voice soft. Elliot, I know you're a good man. But I'm a divorced woman with a kid. We're so different. I'm scared we won't work out, scared of what people will say, scared Luna won't accept you. There's no difference between us, Elliot said, taking my hand. His palm was large and warm, giving me a sense of security. In my eyes, you're the most amazing woman I've ever met. Your courage, your kindness, your hard work, those are more important than any status or background. I don't care about your past, and I don't care what others say. All I care about is our future. As for Luna, I'll show her with my actions that I'll love her like my own child. I'll let her accept me slowly. His eyes were sincere and determined, like the brightest star in the night sky, dispelling all my doubts and fears. I looked up, meeting his gaze, warm and full of hope. I took a deep breath, nodded, and tears fell again, this time, happy ones. Okay, Elliot. I'm willing to try. Elliot smiled, bright, like a child who'd gotten his wish. He gently pulled me into his arms, whispering in my ear, Emma, thank you. I won't let you down. Luna, who'd been dozing off, woke up rubbing her eyes. Mommy, Uncle Elliot, what are you doing? Are you hiding strawberries from me? We pulled apart quickly. I smiled, no, sweetie. We were just telling you that tomorrow we'll go see our new apartment. It has a small garden, we can plant strawberries together. Luna's eyes lit up. Really? Then we can plant lots and lots of strawberries, and make strawberry cake. Of course, Elliot said, stroking her hair. We'll plant strawberries together, and make cake together. Watching this warm scene, my heart was filled with happiness. I knew that from now on, I'd never be alone again. I had Elliot, I had Luna, and I had a warm home. Together, we'd face whatever challenges the future held, and live happily, together.